Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Um, Hello and good afternoon to our lecture, Dr. Farah Adila, and to our friends. So we are from group that present the rural development policy in Malaysia. Okay, so in my group there are five of them. First is me. My name is Muhammad Atif Wajdi bin Muhammad Rizal. Then Muhammad Anik bin Shahruddin. Mansur Haziq bin Alija. Muhammad Khairul Hakimi bin Abdullah. And lastly Muhammad Hasib bin Mahrim. Okay, so my name is Muhammad Atif Wajdi bin Muhammad Rizal, and my matrix number is 2019806664. Okay, so I will present about the introduction of this rural development policy. Okay, so our country, Malaysia, is approaching climax of the Vision 2020 and will face in a different world situation and challenges with obstacles. Then rural development is one of the policies that has been improving by the government for a long time. The first rural transformation was introduced by our former Prime Minister, that was Tun Abdul Razak bin Hussein, in 1957, with the aim of developing physical infrastructure and providing extensive basic amenities to rural residents. It provides a solid track for rural areas to become active and advanced. The government improved to achieve 12 sustainable development goals that provide by the United Nations, that are no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, gender equality, clean water and sanitization, and many more. Okay, it will be the one of the main policies for the rural development that support policy and the national development programs. Okay, first of all, when we talk about rural development policy, what is the definition of rural development policy? Okay, rural development policy is an action from the government to face challenges for that will occur in the rural areas to achieve rural vision peacefully. Okay, this rural development will be the core to the direction of rural development towards Malaysia as a developed country that peacefully, very stable economy and high income people. Okay, there are three drafting principles that have been used by the government as a guide. First is the sustainability, by focus on the quality and well-being of the community or society. Second is the inclusive, a development that concern about race, gender, age group, educational attainment, income and geographical position. Okay, third is holistic. It is encompassing various dimensions such as social, economic, spiritual, physical, cultural and governance. As a process of induced change led by the state, rural development activities covered elements such as planning, implementation, monitoring, coordination, consensus building, and it involved multidisciplinary actors, okay, such as state agencies, the private sector, NGOs, and general public. Drafting the rural development policy is a part of national policies that exist. Okay, so uh, it is appropriate with the local needs and global changes towards the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, that's all for introduction.
Hello, Assalamualaikum, and all my friends and Ibrahim. I hope everyone is having an amazing day today. Without delaying much time, let me proceed with the objective of rural development policy. Today, I am going to explain six points of it, but bear in mind that they are interrelated. When application of this policy is successful, meaning there will be an improvement and more investment in the economical sector of rural areas. Hence, it will contribute to all points stated here in my slide. Okay, firstly, as mentioned in the first point, it will definitely increase the quality of life of the society. This is achieved by an increment in job opportunities and services provided, as written in my second point. Next, it will also improve the accessibility of the goods and people between rural and urban areas. Equity can be maintained and rural society will not be left behind. Moving on the second slide, with this policy, local infrastructure of the rural areas will not be forget. This include bus station, road maintenance, and traffic system. Indirectly, it will strengthen the linkage between rural and urban areas. Urban areas depend on rural areas to meet their demands for food, water, wood, and raw materials, which are basically product of rural ecosystem service. The benefit that rural areas gain from urban development, such as market, from inputs, employment opportunity, especially should not be overlooked. Last but not least, it will increase the competitiveness of rural territories. This is said so because with enhancement of economical sector of rural area, it will make sure that both urban and rural areas can be on the same level in every aspect. That's all from me. Thank you. Hello, hi. Okay, now my turn again. Okay, after this, I will discuss about the actor behind the rural development policy. Okay, it was under the power of Pakatan Harapan government after a huge political crisis occurred. Pakatan Harapan government and formed a new government as the behest of YDPA from the leadership of a new Prime Minister, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, who is the actor behind this policy. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin is the new Minister of Rural Development that appointed by the Prime Minister is Datuk Dr. Haji Abdul Latif Ahmad. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin studies at University of Malaysia in Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery and as an alumni at Harvard Kennedy School. Okay, after that, in 1998, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin is a political party as one of the members of United Malay Nation Organization that we all know, UMNO, in Hospital Branch Mersing. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin also elected as UMNO Youth Chief in Division of Mersing, then selected to be UMNO Deputy Youth Chief in the state of Johor in 1996 until 2000. Now, much with that, he occupied the seat of Chairman Public Complaints Bureau Johor in 1997, and he became member. And Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin became member of Malaysian Parliament, MP of Mersing, and currently he is also elected as UMNO Supreme Council in 2004 until 2018. After that, he be chosen as Deputy Chairman of UMNO Liaison Committee in the state of Johor, Malaysia, and as Deputy Chairman Barisan Nasional of Johor State in 2009 to 2018. After that, for position he became medical officer in 1989 until 1994. Then he occupied the seat of Exco of Youth and Sport Department in Johor, Member of State Assemblyman in Johor. Lastly, for the amazing person, there were achievements that indeed to be proud of. In 1996, he achieved Pingat Ibrahim Sultan PIS. Then 1 year after that, in 1997, he has awarded a Setia Mahkota Johor SMJ. He continued his success and awarded Darjah Mulia Sri Melaka DMSM in 2003. Okay, thank you. That's all from me.
And selamat sejahtera. My name is Muhammad Anik bin Shahruddin and I'm from Group Atif. I will explain about the progress and achievement and also the challenges of rural development policy. So the meaning here about the progress and achievement is to examine the achievement in the process of rural transformation that requires a set of time series data on certain development indicators such as social, economic and physical. So I will explain two progress of rural development policy and its achievement. First, the income and level of poverty. So, income and level of poverty can provide a decent measure of economic progress, which the rise of household income along with a discount in poverty reflects an improved standard of living and quality of life. On the opposite hand, low average household income with high incidence of poverty indicates the failure of development to spread benefit to wider section of society. The initial state after independence reflected this failure, and it's surprising since the colonial authorities were more concerned with maximizing exploitation of resources, which the improvement in average monthly incomes of rural and concrete households. So the incidence of poverty also varies in line with occupations, economic activity, a better rate of poverty that occurred among paddy farmers, rubber and coconut smallholders, and also fishermen. Another progress is the provision of infrastructure. Did you know that the percentage of households with pipe water has increased from 42% in 1980 to more than 90% in 2005? Only Sabah and Kelantan show low levels of achievement, with only about 60% of rural households having pipe water in 2005. Electricity supply was widely covered in Peninsular Malaysia, in which all states recorded more than 90% of households with electricity in 2000. Lower coverage of slightly less than 70% was recorded in Sabah and Sarawak. It is because high development costs due to geographical factors and sparse population have hindered the rapid expansion of rural electrification in Sabah and Sarawak. However, the overall achievement in the provision of piped water and electricity were encouraging. Next, I will explain about the rural challenges. So, the challenge of rural communities is quite apparent because the major problems faced during the early periods after independence have greatly reduced. For example, poverty, lack of infrastructure and amenities, low level of education and health. As old problems vanish, new problems crop up and more challenges appear on the scene. So, there are two challenges which give the great challenge for the rural development policy. First, the globalization was a phenomenon of complex interrelationships in economic activities across international space as a result of increased internalization of production activity. It arises particularly from the event and worldwide adoption of contemporary information and telecommunication technologies. The world liberalization of international trade and capital movements, the associated enhanced ability of multinational corporations to assemble capital wherever the prices of production are lowest, and social and environmental restrictions are weakest, and international agreements that limit the ability of national governments to directly bolster and protect the economics of their lagging regions. The end of result of globalization is that increase the opening of local economies to global competition. Another challenge is the uneven development. Uneven development is not only related to uneven spatial development, but also the uneven process of development in economic power and capital accumulation, as expressed in social inequality. This has been explicitly noted in national policy such as the National Physical Plan, which emphasizes concentration of development in major conurbation areas. The formation of the Iskandar Regional Development Authority would expedite further the process of urban polarization. Under this scenario, the gap between urban and rural prosperity will widen. The rural economy will not be able to catch up with declining services, and outmigration will be unavoidable. The phenomenon of rural decline will occur at an accelerated rate, leaving behind the old population, rural poor, and a lack of services. Thus, rural development as a measure needed to intervene in the process of uneven development is more pressing and emphasized for the future. Another challenge for the rural development policy is because the rural variation. Malaysia is known because it has a very rich and rural heritage. There are wide variation of people and communities in rural areas. The socio-cultural, economic, physical, values and belief system are not similar as such as the Malays in traditional villages, Chinese in small towns, and Indians in estates, the indigenous people of Sabah and Sarawak, the remote community of Orang Asli and Orang Ulu. Different rural regions also have different problems and potential. Rural areas near conurbation regions are facing problems of development pressure. Urban activities are continuing to encroach at a rapid pace, with the rural environmental deteriorating and infrastructure under strain. Acknowledging the rural variation is very important in planning the development of rural areas in the future. By acknowledging local variation, centralized planning becomes less relevant. There is a need to pursue rural development at a local level, as well as for working collaboratively between central agencies, local agencies, and the local people in planning and implementing rural development. That's all for me. Thank you.
Explain about the strength and the weakness of rural development policy. The first strength of the rural development policy is managed to reduce poverty. It is because many citizens live in the poverty difficult life. In example, Malaysia on that time, there are many citizens can't buy their daily expenses and many from them be homeless. So from the RDP, its objective was pointed to the poverty citizens to stabilize their life, so they are no one will be left out with a poverty and difficult life. The second strength is the RDP has managed to restructure the economy. It is because on that day there are different types of work based on the races. In example, the Chinese was conquered the mining sector, the Indian and Malayan has conquered the agriculture sector. The Indian was focused to rubber tapping. From that, the economic system was not stable that have to restructure it. It has to restructure it because to avoid the wealth gap among the races. The third strength of The third strength is RDP has played a big part in national unity. We have to remember the RDP have been created because the tragedy of 13 May. This is because it this is because the all the races was dispute their right as a Malaysian citizen. So the RDP is function to stabilize the economy for each races. It is because to avoid the tragedy to happen again. We move to the weakness or the failure of the rural development policy. One of the biggest failure of the RDP is that it failed to help many non-Bumiputras who deserve to benefit from affirmative action. The Indian poor, especially from the rural estate communities, are one of the main groups that are still in poverty left until today. The data of result from the RDP showed that the share of wealth non-Bumiputras increased to 46.8%. The second weakness the second weakness of the rural development policy is the goals were not achieved. The target is 15%, but the achievement after the policy was implemented is just 20%. So the policy was not run goodly because it it cannot achieve their target. The result was not reached at least half of the target. So until now, many rural citizens were left in poor because they have not received the help from the government. So from that, government must remake the policy to ensure all the target group receive the benefit from the policy. Lastly, a great failure of the rural development policy is in RDP in its anti-poverty prong is its disregard of the problem of income inequality and the relative concept of the poverty, where success in eradicating poverty implies a distributional aspect which demand not merely that the income of the poor be increased absolutely, but also that they be increased relative to the average income level. The only occasion when the government referred to the need to redistribute income was in the midterm review of the second Malaysia Plan in 1973, where the reduction of existing inequitable distribution of income between income between income program and projects to achieve the new economic policy objective in the outline perspective plan 1970 until 1990.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Asif bin Mahrim. I will continue with recommendation. So, there are three major recommendations put forward for consideration by government. Firstly, it requires a strong forward-looking policy and communication. Second, proposes the establishment of a platform to promote dialogue and collaboration among all relevant sectors to favor communication activities for food security. Thirdly, proposes public sectors institutional change to enhance the new and expanded policy and strategy. It is recommended that government develop a new and expanded policy agenda for agriculture extension and communication for rural development, focusing national attention on food security and rural poor income generation. Government will focus national attention on agricultural and rural development in a new vision of the role of the public sector in promoting food security and their role in fostering food security. Formulate a rural policies agenda. Government will need to create a policy agenda on food security and income generation of the rural poor generation. A rural development policy agenda would include actions to reprioritize agricultural extension and information services as part of a national multi-sectorial integrated food security network. To plan and budget for pluralizing and strengthening agriculture communication system by allocating funds for international. Next, establish alliance with all sector. A rural development policy agenda would seek to establish alliance with all sector in effort to develop program for food security and income generation among the rural poor. A rural agricultural extension communication strategy embraces issues that include but go beyond those of production and access to food, thereby requiring linkage and collaborative effort with other organizations, public and private, concerned with other related basic human needs such as health, sanitation and employment. A pluralistic institutional framework would promote the advancement of mixed economies whereby there would be closer cooperation between the public and private sector. There is evidence that the adoption of improvement to improve agriculture technologies occur at high rates when governmental organizations, NGOs, and private organizations from partnership in extending agriculture technology to farmer. Collaborative initiative should be structured to support different farmer, and large farms seem to be better supported by producer organization and private sector through a collaborative approach. Medium-sized farms seem to function best when government, producer organizations and the private sector collaborate, and small farms need to rely on government and NGO services, including universities and volunteer programs such as farmer to farmer. In any case, the local units of different need to be provided with resources to plan and implement location specific programs that support integrated partnerships. Government may need to request assistance from donors in developing location specific partnership. This fund will be best allocated with pro-food security agenda in mind and involve the public sector, NGOs and the private sector, including RPOs. Thank you. So the conclusion of the rural development policies is rural development policies must reach beyond agriculture, realizing the potential for income and economic value of diversified interests, such as ecotourism, cottage industries, and off-farm activities. It takes physical infrastructure as well as social infrastructure, such as recreational activities. A multi-sectoral network of extension offer an exclusive approach to rural development and establish rural extension activities for non-agricultural population in rural areas, as well as agriculture extension strategy. In all cases, where nationally integrated food security system are being improved, multiple sectors are encouraged to work collaboratively to combat food security and generate income. Integrated food security comprises a variety of sectors, including international organization projects involving various agencies and organizations in the network. For example, in some countries, along with the Ministry of Agriculture and Science and Technology, transportation, public work, health and education may be involved. Each country will likely have a diverse set of national and transnational companies and sector organizations that may be part of a multi-sectoral network of public sector. Action to support food security, and where appropriate, the SPFS, the skill of public sector agricultural extension staff will be need to be strengthened in terms of management and program development, developing both ongoing service and private sector collaboration, appraising the private sector's potential to contribute to agricultural extension delivery services for productivity. Productivity purpose, and to involve the various entities in that sector in calculate cost beneficial agricultural extension delivery services and training national, district and local agriculture extension staff in the skill requires to assist in related projects such as SPSFS. Thank you.